Hola a todos. Hello, everyone. I am Giovanni Spinal from Medellin, Colombia. Today we're really happy because we have the key part of the modding community with us. So let's hear a little bit about them. Mons, do you want to start?
Sure. I'm Monzun. I make mostly server tools. I make Discord link with the help from some community contributions as well. It's open source. And the Chronicler, the tool for figuring out who did what when. Those are my main contributions, I would say. And Nid
That's,
also does some tools.
yeah, Nid, tell us about yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nidaren. Let me say first that I'm so honored to be here among such a great people in our community. It's really fantastic time for me. I also do server tools. My main interest is doing server-side modding. I was never big on object mods, although I want to get there eventually. Yeah, and that's about it. I have been modding Eco since 2019. This was when I released my first mod, and actually I checked it today, and I'm surprised that the time has flown so quickly. It's already a few years, but yeah, that's me basically.
That's nice. We are also going to have Kai joining us later. I don't know if you're aware, but he lives in a really different time zone. So he needs extra time to join us, but he'll be here later. And now we also have Jordan, aka Test. So do you want to talk a little bit, Jordan?
Sure. I am like I said, I'm Jordan. I am one of the developers that works on Eco's mod kit. I've done most of the little recent changes, like being able to do, fonts on the sign and things like that. I don't really have much to say to that.
No, that's nice. That is important that the people that are watching us know that Jordan is like the expert of the mod kit on the company. So feel free to ask questions on the chat. We will be trying to check all the questions that are there. So we are going to talk about mods, but first I would like to make a small introduction in case someone is not familiar with the topic. So mods is short for modification, and it's a term used by video game community for the modifications that are done by the players. It could be something visual, like the possibility to change the color of the hair of your character, or it could be a feature to make the game more comfortable. Like what the concept of that is quality of life. Like for example, we have the mode Big Shovel that allows you to increase the current capacity for shovels. I think that's a nice mode, for example. But it's not only that. I mean, there are a lot of different mods that can create new possibilities for a game. I have seen some stuff that I say that are really creative, like having police inside Eco, or having, for example, race cars inside the Eco world. I think that those are nice. We are really happy to find those modes created by our community, and we really hope to see those new features that everyone is creating. So if you have more specific question about mods, we have the the right people here for that. And well, we should start now. So Mons, what do you have to show us?
Oh yeah, I'm going to be showing more stuff later, I think. But to begin with, I'm going to be boring and just talk actually. I have some opinions. We'll see if they're controversial or not on how and what mods are and where they fit in into the grander scheme of the game. Not just Eco, but like more or less any game. So first, one piece of terminology that I was reminded to explain. I'm going to be talking about vanilla versus modded. And vanilla here, it just means the base game, what SLG delivers. It doesn't mean that it needs to be the vanilla configuration of the server or like settings or anything, but just like an unmodded game is more or less what I mean by it. So there are some strengths to mods. I saw a point in the chat when talking about Big Shovel that someone said the mod that shouldn't be a mod or something like that. And it's actually ties in pretty good to the point I want to make, because not everyone wants to play with Big Shovel. It changes the economy. It's very convenient. It allows you to like what's it called, like shovel out big areas and terraform much easier. It's very nice for farmers to be able to actually have flat, nice fields. And it's good for a lot of things, but it also has some drawbacks that you need to rebalance the economy slightly because it's easier to get sand, clay, those things. Which means that if you would add this into vanilla, you would actually have to change the game a little bit to make it work the same way still without upsetting things. And mods have the great benefits of being opt-in. Anything that goes into vanilla is generally an opt-out situation. So if you make a change in vanilla, in the version that SLG releases, it needs to fit new players, experienced players, roleplay players, creative players, min-max players. It has to fit basically with everyone. While in this game, we have servers that cater specifically for roleplay players, where they can add roleplay mods with, like, even if it has drawbacks on the economy, well, it's roleplay. So, and the players are there for roleplay, so it works for them. They don't need to care about the drawbacks. And this is a huge benefit for mods. One of the other things is, of course, that mods can spend stupid amounts of time on a detail. Like, I would never think, for example, that SLG should incorporate the entirety of Discord link in. Like, there's a bunch of things in there that you just don't need for vanilla. I just added it because I thought it was fun. The players on my server thought we would want it, or yeah, it does a lot more than the basics. And I would rather see the devs spend time on other things than doing extravagant, weird things with Discord. Although that being said, I would of course still welcome some base game integration with Discord for chat. So yeah, that's two of the real big advantages that mods have, and sort of where we fit in. So when it comes to the question of like, oh, why isn't this in vanilla? The counter question you can ask yourself: are there drawbacks for people who don't like the game for the same reason as me? There's a lot of different reasons why people love eco, and it really shows in the diversity of the type of servers we have. Like, there are servers that are run like 6 times XP, double the amount of stockpile sizes and things like that. I mean, they don't want the grindy experience, while there are weird people like me who play this game, like hanging out in Discord, chatting to people, and it's a nice social thing to dig clay all of a sudden. It all depends on how people want to play the game, and mods can tailor to specific niche categories of people, and that's the real strength in mods, I would say. Yeah.
That's nice. Mans, I sent you a question on the I'm sorry, can comment on the Discord chat if you can check, but basically it says, can we make a clarification between modders who use base modding and those who have access to the source code?
Oh yeah, I actually have something to talk about there. If we want to continue looking at my face and my mouth just talking about things instead of cool mods. Kye isn't here. He has all the visual stuff for this, I think. But so in eco, we have a very special situation. I'm a professional like programmer for a different game company, and we have modders for our game as well. They don't have the exact same strength in their modding system as the modders for eco has. They get access to our scripting system, and they can add their own assets and things like that. In eco, people who have access to the source code, we can literally build the game ourselves. And that allows us to do a lot of cool things that we don't always even have to go and ask Strange Loop Games, like, hey, I would need this thing to be able to make this mod. Sometimes we can just do it ourselves. We can even propose changes in the base, in the code base for vanilla. And we as modders write the code, and we send what's called a pull request to SLG, and they look at it and say, well, we will do it a bit differently. If you do it this, and this, then we can merge it. And when it gets merged, it becomes part of the base game in the next release, or in the release where it fits. And then we have the mod support that we need. There are some things we have just made requests for as well. Like, for example, I'll show you later a function I made in Discord link now that just allows you to run a command, and you will immediately be prompted by your Discord client on your PC. Like, do you want to join this server? Like, do you want to join the Discord server for the Eco server? And that's actually a thing I just requested. I needed a way to have the game client ask, do you want to join this? Like, do you want to open this link, or like, do you want to go to this web address? And when that works, I can just do this and put in a request. And Jordan here, test, made it, and now it's in my mod. So we can either do things ourselves, or sometimes when we can't, or it's difficult for us, we can ask the developers to do it. So they're very active and integrated, like in the modding community, and it's very, very nice to see all the support we get as modders for this game. It's honestly impressive and very brave, I will say, as well as of SLG, to expose their code for the entire world to see, because it's not always easy to keep release schedules and all of the difficult parts of game development tidy and nice and neat. But I think you're doing a really good job, I will have to say.
Well, thank you for the positive comments, Monz. I'm sorry, I make a small interruption that I forgot to mention. If you are watching the stream, on the top of the screen, you will see a link with a survey in case you want to participate, telling us what kind of mods do you use. And we also like to collect data about how many people is interested in learning how to create mods, because depending on that, we would like to consider possibilities like creating tutorials or something like that. But I mean, it all depends on how popular is that in general. So remember that we have a link there in case anyone wants to check it. I will also share it on the chat. I mean, Dennis probably will share it in the chat. And yeah, again, man, sorry for the interruption, and thank you for the kind comments. Yeah, we're really happy to help our modders. So if there is something like that you can do that you can't do, we are always happy to hear the community feedback and try to improve our capabilities to make the game better. So, Mons, do you want to display something already, or do you want us to the Nid to start talking about what mods have been working on?
If Nid wants to, he can show off a little bit while I prepare some visuals for you.
Sure, no problem. Although, yeah, absolutely. Thank you, by the way, guys. Although before I go into showing anything, I just would like to touch on something that Mons also mentioned from with my perspective. So yes, I agree with everything that Mons said, and I would like to also add that at least I, and I think Mons as well, and Kye, we had this amazing opportunity that I think happens very rarely in general in gaming, like in modding community, that you have a chance to be a part of the community of the game that is just like starting before this huge explosion when people don't know each other anymore, because there are so many of them that it's just impossible to keep track. So even now, looking at the chat, I see people with whom I have interacted before, who provided feedback and who reported bugs and gave some suggestions or what can be added, what can be changed. So this was pretty amazing, even from that side. So basically, my mod was born from the need of actually getting some kind of admin tool to granularly give permissions to different commands. So because in the very beginning you only had option to either give everything to one person who is an admin or none, and we wanted something that would allow us to basically just decide on the command basis what can be used. And I have been playing with the group of friends. We have met long time ago, and ever since then we have been playing basically all of the survival games that were coming out, and we kind of stuck to Eco because it was like this canvas that basically just drops you out and you are basically free to do whatever you feel like. So we really welcome the change that SLG decided to do, that they are going to depart from the idea of the game that focuses on this 30 days interval, just getting rid of the meteor and then restarting, and going more into the building the community and systems, laws, constitutions, settlements. This actually is something that me and people with whom I play really enjoy, and that's why it was a bigger motivation to actually create tools so we can use to help us in adminning the server. So basically, to be completely honest with you, actually, people built my set because we started with something simple, and then people would say, listen, maybe we could add this, maybe we could add that. Some systems were in the meantime added already in Eco. So mine were redundant and some didn't. So we basically stuck with it. So basically, I could easily say that people who provided feedback built my mod. I just had a little bit to shape what they wanted. So that's really cool because kind of like everyone put a little bit of it. I even keep like a channel on my Discord where there is a track of who suggested what, so they could easily find what was added basically thanks to them. So it's really cool that kind of like everyone participated and made it happen. And also something I wanted to add to what Mons said, that I find the community to be really nice in general. You really almost never find like accidents of people being like rude or like disturbing in any like shape or form. So that's really fine as well as something I really enjoyed. So yeah, my mod was basically born out of the idea to just bring some of the tools. It started like this giant blob full of functions because I have never had anything to do with modding. I mean, I did mod, but never in like core language. It was always some scripting language made for the game. And this one was actually the first one that demanded of me to delve into like mainstream language, which was like used for programming. Actually, I wanted to join college that would deal something with programming, but unfortunately, at that time they required maths, physics, all the sciences subjects that I was really bad at. So that was a no-go for me. So for me, modding was kind of like getting this childhood dream make true without like having to study for it, if that makes sense. So that was quite interesting. And yeah, it started like this giant blob of functions, and then my users proposed that, listen, maybe we could kind of like divide it because it's getting too big, and so we can make it so that people can only pick the modules they're going to use and just leave out the ones that are not needed. And then we divided it into like this separate sub modules. And also very important thing, because somewhere over the timeline of my mod, actually Kye joined the community, and it was just like the bright star on the horizon has risen, because he has produced like I don't have words even. He created like the entire universe of modding. He created the framework that actually ensured. Maybe I would also add to something that Mons said, that it is very important whenever modding is involved to make sure that they kind of play together, because like Mons also mentioned, it's very easy to break the system if mods change the same things, or if they touch the same systems that they are not supposed to touch. So having kind of like framework that would kind of gather it all and ensure that at least on the permissions level things work together would be fantastic. So Kye did that, and also on top of that, like gazillions of beautiful object mods. And this is how it basically evolved to where we are now, and how it is working now. So that would be a little bit of my story, but I think I should give the voice back to Mons, because I think he's ready to present something.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, unless sorry.
No, sorry. Yeah, I'll just change the script. Go ahead, Mons.
Okay, yeah, I could show you some things. As I said, I make tools, and most of you are probably not server hosts, but players, and are probably more excited about the things that Kye make, like cars, greenhouses, bricks of all the colors, arches, everything. But I will show you some things that I have worked on. Let's go, and let me know, like ping me in chat if I speak too fast. I can also absolutely do that, especially when I'm on stream and trying to figure out what I'm doing at the same time. Have we switched to my screen?
Yeah, your screen is visible,
Okay,
and
excellent.
it happens the same for me. I mean, I start speaking so fast, and then I check the comments on Twitch, and there is a bunch of people telling me that I'm talking really fast, and yeah, I'm sorry that sometimes it happens. Let us know. We are checking the chat.
Exactly. Yeah, I see. I've seen a few other modders in chat, like Zach is there, Stahl, and I just wanted to shout that there are more modders than me, Nid, and Kye here. There's a lot of us. We aren't
Hello, everyone.
all of them.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like on my own server, I think I run mods from at least 7 different authors, 8 if you count one of my admins that also helped me out with mods. Okay. Let's see, I should be on a server now. There are some things I have done for Discord link. Find my list of all the things I wanted to show. So firstly, I can show what Discord link is. It's basically So if I type something in chat in game, I want to know like when can someone be back making bricks, whatever. So we just text stream message. Pretend that that's one of those message. Yeah, exactly, Stav, in chat. That's one of the things I want to show off. But just the basic functionality of it is that I can. Here's a Discord. We can find. There we go. I just need to scroll a little bit. That's I have a vertical monitor that I pulled this from. That's why it's very, very long. You can see here, test stream message. Okay, so if I type something from here, hello, it will pop out. It's probably quite small for you, but it will pop out down here. And previously, it would it will pop up in a bit of a different format. Especially if I do this. No, is that not a command? I don't know my own commands. Is it like this? No. Hang on. I just need to unlink my command, my user. Unlink account is what it is now. Unlink account. There. Now we're not linked anymore. Then we open Discord and we say hello. And we actually go back to the chat. There we go. It's not supposed to do that. Okay. I haven't released this version, and it's maybe because it's not doing exactly what I want. In Discord link, you can link your account to your Discord account, your in-game account on the server to your account on Discord, and it gives you a bunch of features that you can do extra, like voting in elections via Discord and things like that. What it was supposed to do here was show me that I can talk without using my in-game name here. So if someone in Discord types, previously it would say Discord link : and then the person's name : and then the message, which gets very verbose, very long, very bloated in chat. I've actually now managed, with some help from Kye and Nid, to figure out a good way to skip that fake user altogether. Previously, we created a fake user that gets a currency, it gets a user, you can check it in laws and all of that. It's a bit weird because it never logs in. And it actually causes some issues to have it exist as well. Because it's not a real user. There are other mods actually that just look at all the users and try to do things that have gotten issues because the Discord link user is fake and doesn't have things set up properly. So it's very nice to not have that anymore and instead just be able to send a custom format of it. But then you don't suddenly know which messages come from Discord. So I also added custom icons. Maybe we can do was it Windows Plus to zoom a little bit? Whoa! Okay, now the cursor is locked. There we go. Maybe. I'm not sure if this works. Let's zoom that out again. That's difficult. But yeah, it pops out a little Discord link icon after the name to show where it comes from. This actually leads me into another thing. Another new thing with Discord link. Yes, like someone in chat pointed out, the number one rule here is that code works until you try to show it off, or when it reaches QA. Then QA will come back and say it works as implemented, and that's the worst thing, because that generally means it doesn't work as intended. It works like I made it, and those two are not the same. Let me see. Yes, this one is what I want to show. So if I go to Discord again, and then I select some very cool emote I want to send. I wonder if this will work, ? Think. Oh, wow. I actually got the icon in game. It's been an issue with Discord link for a long time that it would produce a little funny squares when it doesn't recognize the characters. I can probably find some icon in here to show you how it would work. Maybe the satellite one. Yeah, look at that. Here we go, a square. Which is not entirely useful, because if someone writes like I don't know, when someone writes an emote and you don't know if it's a :P or a happy face or an angry face, it can really change the message like that the people in game reads. So I'm trying to add custom icons in here. I have managed to mostly get it to work for. I've made it work for like the most common icons in Discord, like the potato. That one was important to add. I think I even have a little post here. Yeah, I can post this one in game. You can see what it looks like if I do like this. Pop, a whole bunch of icons. And then there are some icons that are natively supported as they're part of the Unicode standard. So this is just to like add on, make sure that that the icons that aren't already supported get some support via Discord link. And while I was doing that, I realized, well, wait, we can actually do this in a bit of a custom way as well. So I think you should see my server now. Tell me if that's not the case. And there is a new section in the setup called emotes. Emote icon substitutions. This doesn't look very excited for the regular player. It's just the server interface. But you can do a thing here that's pretty interesting and pretty simple. You just go in here and say like, when someone uses the think icon in Discord, when we find that one in a message, replace it with an icon, with a custom icon, because in Eco you can make your own custom icons using Unity and the mod kit that SLG provides to import basically anything, and you just name it something. So what I've done here is that I've taken this icon that I've added to Discord and I have added it into Eco as well with the same name. Or, well, it can be with any name because you can just say that here, for example, if someone writes Discord link, if someone uses that icon, it will show the Discord link logo. So this means that in the future, when I release this, it will probably come around 10.0 or the 10.0 preview maybe. You will be able to add whatever icons you want basically into in-game, which is pretty cool. That's what I have about those icons. Maybe I should actually show, yeah. People writing things in chat just to get on stream now. There are some other features of Discord link. Tell me if you want me to talk about something else, by the way, or someone else needs a word in, just interrupt me. Or if there are questions for me, I'm a little bit focused. There are some things that I think are pretty cool that I've added to Discord link on top for this chat synchronization. This is the most important thing, being able to communicate with people who are offline when you are online and vice versa. It's a big thing for these types of like persistent, long time running games. Another thing I have is these, I call them displays, which is basically it's a message in Discord that the bot edits all the time. So every time someone logs in or out, they will add a little funny line here to say that, oh, this person is online, they have been online for this long, this is how long time they have until they get exhausted, because we run an exhaustion server. So that's actually quite relevant to a lot of people. And like, when do you get your new exhaustion? How long is it left until the world is utterly demolished? Other relevant pieces of information. And we haven't done this for a bunch of things. Let's see, there aren't any elections going on this server right now. You can see trades coming in. This is a feed. It just posts trades that happens. But then there's a work party up. You can see what the work parties look like. Things like this. It's the main bread and butter of Discord link. What more do I have on my list?
Monzun, there is a question about these icons that says, are you converting them to Unity TMP, like Text Mesh Pro?
I don't think so. Is the answer. Let's see. Do I have Unity open? No, I can probably actually just pull up Unity quickly and show you what I do. It was Nid who taught me to do this. Firstly, I watched Kye's excellent videos on YouTube. Then it turned out that was more than I needed because he was showing how to make an entire item, and I just wanted to make an icon. So with some help from Nid and Kye, I figured out, you can open the Discord link one. It's actually super duper easy. Okay, now it's going to load for a little bit first.
Yeah, no problem at all. While it loads, I'm sorry again to interrupt you. I think that Kye is already on the chat. Kye, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey guys, sorry I'm a bit late. My name's Kye. I'm a small-time modder for Eco. A lot of you probably haven't heard of me. I make a bunch of content mods, and I also build a base framework for a lot of modders to use in their mods to help make everything as compatible as I can. I've been playing Eco since like Alpha 4, so I've been around for quite a while. And I've been modding since like Alpha 5. I started with an old time modder. A lot of people probably don't remember him, but his tag was Clay C, and he taught me a lot in regards to modding Eco and stuff like that. So it's been a bit of a wild ride, but it's been good.
Okay, thank you, Kai, for the introduction. So yeah, Mans, I see that you already have Unity open.
Yeah, I can just show you how I've added this. So I've gotten a, sorry, I need to open the right thing here. I just gotten a PNG of the image, like just this one. Everyone uses this all the time, I'm sure. I wasn't really sure which emotes to include by default, so please like put suggestions either in the form. I think there might be a question section of a Discord link, or you can put them in the Discord link like discussion part in the modding Discord. That's play, or straight up in the mod dev Discord of mod talk Discord of the official Eco Discord. Like you can reach me in all of those places. Please don't DM, but you can put them in any of those places and I will see it and I will try to include all the commonly used emotes. But this is what I do. I add them in here in Unity, I just drag drop them from the folder, and then you can just go select the sprite, 2D and UI option up there. Then you set some sort of max size. I've tried to figure out what is good enough here, trying to keep them small so that we don't download more data than we need when we do our mod downloads. Although that has been significantly improved with the absolute latest release SLG did a few days ago. We're having way less issues now with mod downloads. And then I just go to, I think it is in this little thing, and I drag drop them into this little container up here, which is just an image container. And that's all you need to do. And then you can just go to the Eco mod kit and build current bundle, and you will get a little funny file dot, is it Unity assets dot 3D assets maybe? Yeah. And you just put it in your server in the mods director, and it will load it, and you can just use these icons. I can actually show you in game if I admin abuse everyone. Large hanging redwood sign maybe. We got one. It's probably in my backpack. There we go. And we can smack it up on a wall. Let's see if I can remember the syntax for this. I think it's eco icon name equals. Equals. We can take root think. I think it's like this. Come on. Yeah. Okay. There. Oops. So in the exact same way as I'm using them in chat, it's the exact same thing I'm doing here.
That's awesome. Yeah, there is a comment as an initial feedback that it'd be cool to have icons also for the professions. So maybe something to have in mind.
The professions, shouldn't they already have these icons existing? I think.
Yeah, that's right. But I don't know if they can be used there on the. As you just used. Oh yeah, Jordan.
I believe they can. I mean, obviously, other members of the team would know better, but I think for the most part, any icon you see in Eco does show up in TextMesh Pro. It's just a matter of knowing the name. Because when you pull up like lumber, it's not lumber item. It's something very specific for things like specialties, the chat badges, things like that. That actually is probably a good thing to document at some point, all the various suffixes that define each type of sprite.
Yeah, I agree with Jordan. So yes, if they are viable, and you're right, all the icons on the game should be viable. So we need to improve the documentation so people know how to use them. Yeah, I love that image.
We are experimenting a little bit with seeing if we can we make fake signs by just importing images. This one is drawn by one of our admins. Just see if we can import them and like put paintings up on the walls just by using signs by importing custom images. And I know that you have been experimenting with things for taking in-game images as well and uploading images and things like that.
Yeah, I'm working on that.
You'll probably talk about that. yeah, we'll talk about that in a later stream, I suppose. But it's really cool. So maybe we're making redundant things here, and you will already need to be able to do this in 10.0. But yeah, that's how those icons work. Let me know if there's any other questions regarding them.
I think we don't have more questions about the icons. I don't know if Nid, you want to show us. Are you ready to show us something?
It depends what would be needed. I can show you a little bit of Unity. Actually, maybe I will add something to Mon's set, because I remember we were struggling a little bit with the system when the icons actually changed into the image container. So Mon's actually covered it very nicely. I will only add that there is one quirk in Unity when you want to export your icons. And it deals with the name of your scene. I will try to point it out on top of it. So basically, whenever you export your icons, make sure that you name your scene uniquely. Don't leave the name like general, because if there is another mod that uses the same scene, it will be ignored. So your asset won't show, and then you will be wondering what is happening, and actually only the log can tell you on the client side. So basically, if you follow what Mon said plus the name of the scene, then you should be all good to go when you want to display your assets. And actually, also a huge thanks to one of the developers who goes by the name of Sergey, because he's the one who actually fixed the image container, because it has been actually available for a long time, but it hasn't been working. So in order to add the image before, you had to like create a fake item and attach scripts to it, and it was a little bit more complex, I guess, than it needed to be. Now it's very easy. Whichever PNG or any other graphic you would like to add, there is absolutely no problem, as long as you remember to simply add the unique name for the scene. And again, sorry if it's getting too codey, but since we have mostly modders in the chat, I hope that this is fine. But it's really difficult to explain it, not getting into the nitty-gritty details about it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the information. Your screen is still available, Nid, in case you want to show us one of the mods that you have done before.
Yeah, absolutely. But maybe if you guys want, I can give the space to Kye, because he wasn't present, that maybe he has something to add, and I can go later on, because the only thing I can show is the different modules I did and some object mods that I also did. And maybe I wanted also to go into laws, if anyone is interested, how they are open, how you can mod them, civics, stuff like that. So boring stuff, just to warn everyone. So yeah, maybe Kye would like to add something.
Okay, Kye, your screen is visible right now. In case you want to show something, if you don't want, just let me know.
Things aren't working real well for me at the moment. My net doesn't like me. I'm trying to actually hop in to probably show you some stuff, but that's all right. I don't know. I've mind blanked now.
You've done a lot of cool things. Like you have your cars, for example. That's very cool.
Oh yeah, the cars was fun. I really enjoyed doing the cars. So I like to explore all aspects of eco modding. I like to touch all different areas, anywhere from admin utilities all the way up to whacked out content mods. Basically, when I first started, I started with some basic objects, and I found it actually quite easy and quite simple to learn, because when I first started modding eco, I actually didn't really know a whole lot about C# code at all. And throughout the years, I've actually developed a lot of skills in C# and in developing with the mods, and it's helped greatly. I've been able to do so much with it. And I've also found, like, out of a lot of other games, eco is probably the easiest to mod. It's the easiest to learn. And it just takes a little bit of patience, a little bit of testing, and then you'll get the hang of it. So I'm always trying to encourage people to mod. If they need help, I'm always there in the community to help out, get their mods working. I wanted to show you some stuff, but the server doesn't want to let me join.
If you want some more, sorry.
No, yeah. If you need a couple of minutes, we can continue with Nid or Months. Do you think that it would be better to have a couple of minutes to try to?
I think a couple of minutes might help. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, I see you added a new icon, Months.
Yeah, I switched it. I have to advertise. No, I was just going to mention firstly that Kye is the one who started up the modding community Discord, and if you're interested in joining it, there is a invite link to it pinned in the official Eco Discord. I think it's in the mod dev chat. If anyone has it, and the moderators in here don't hate it, we could post it in the chat. Because it's not only for modders, it's also for people. Sorry, talking too fast. It's also for people who want to give feedback on our mods and ask us like, hey, can you do this, or like get help. The setup of Discord link, for example, is a little bit difficult because you need to go through and do a lot of Discord stuff that I can't automate for you. So, and Discord permissions, don't get me started on those. It's a lot of things you might want help with. So we're there, and yeah, there we go. We got a link for it. So it's not just for modders; it's for everyone else as well. I have two things I'm going to show off. Like for some time, the official servers, at least White Tiger, runs some of our mods, and they have been running Discord link for a little while, but they haven't enabled like the main feature, which is chat sharing. Because as like the official developer, you have a lot of responsibility to care about your users' data, and people who just buy Eco and go in and play on the official server maybe don't want to share their chat information with Discord, because Discord is a completely different company than what they bought the game with. So Dennis actually asked me to make an opt-in versus like opt-out feature. So, and I finished that up a few days ago. So if it works well, I should say first, and if I actually understood exactly what Dennis needed, we might get this on the official servers at some point in the future. No promises, or maybe I should promise just to get put Dennis in a difficult situation if he's listening. Let's see. I'm going to pull up this again. So right now I have put my server in opt-in mode. So if I write something in game, hello, it just goes directly to Discord. It shows up down here. Sorry that I'm not unable to zoom on this. It became a little bit difficult. It became a little bit difficult to control the camera in game because it locks the mouse, and it's very difficult to move that zoom around. But yeah, if I write something there, it will pop up in Discord. But if I do this, Discord link, opt out. How do we spell this? There, you have opted out of chat synchronization. Discord link is dumb. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna write. It's censored. Luckily, the author couldn't see that. It just shows up, but there was a message at the time by this person, but they have opted out of chat synchronization. And there is an opposite mode as well, where you need to opt in as well. So that's like the last feature I wanted to show off now, just to see that hopefully maybe sometime you can get it on the official servers as well. And maybe one day we'll have it as a native part of the game. But that's not a promise I'm going to make. It is not mine to make. Maybe Jordan can make it for you. No, I was not going to push that on him. I have another mod that I can show off as well, unless people have questions about this, or if Nid and Kye have something else to show off.
Well, there is a question, but it's not exactly related to the current feature we are displaying, but it was with Echo going forward with the desire to become Echo Infinite. Do you modders feel that gives your ground for experimenting with mods?
If I'm to answer that, I'm not exactly sure. It was a while since we heard any public information about Eco Infinite. I think at least, or I'm not just up to date on the information. But I'm not exactly sure what it would mean for us, in all honesty. So it's a very difficult question for me to answer right now. Maybe when we have more information on what it means, we would be in a better position to answer. Unless someone of the other modders have a better response or are better informed than I am.
Yeah, I don't know if Jordan has more information, because I know I don't have more information about it.
Well, I can pitch. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, I don't know. I mean, there's things planned for the mod kit for 10. I will say that. But as far as What's in a state to talk about? I'm not entirely sure yet.
Okay, that's nice. Yeah, that also answers the question. So we don't have enough information yet to answer. But yeah, that's completely valid. So I don't. Nid, I'm sorry we interrupt you. Did you wanted to say something?
No, it's fine. I just wanted to add that maybe not so much from the perspective of the modder, but from the perspective of the player, I think this decision is fantastic. It takes the game more from like this very short-term experience into building communities. And I think all of the systems that are being created now in the game, laws, settlements, energy consumption, all of the supporting technologies are really going to shine when the world is living for a little bit longer. It also gives space for like bigger worlds. Me and my community, we have always been playing for on like this unsupported quote unquote worlds, like 8 square kilometers. I know some people even tried 16, so really huge and big worlds that require significant cooperation to even get things running, like logistics. Yeah, I think it's great decision, and for modding, I think it opens up really a lot of possibilities rather than closes, because short-term experiences, I think they provide less space for like mods in general. While when the worlds are running longer, yeah, I guess the need for modded stuff will even increase over time. So yeah, great decision in my opinion.
Nice. Thank you, Nid. Nid, do you want, now that you're talking, do you want to show us one of the features that you have implemented?
Yes, actually I can. Let me just switch the screen. Actually, I wanted to go a little bit more on, just 1 second, I need to find my browser. Of course, it disappears when it's needed. 1 moment. Yes, I wanted to just show a little bit more about the different modules I have released over time. More just to touch on the fact that, well, I get the feedback that how can you even read all of this? This is just one giant wall of text. And from the standpoint of trying to explain how all of these different modules work, it is really impossible to do it without the wall of text, or I'm just not aware of the better way. But also the consequence of this is that over time, especially for chat tags, this is like my most downloaded module I have made for Eco. Basically, if someone is completely new here and doesn't know how the chat system works in Eco, I will just explain a little bit. But that's normally basically whenever you type something, you will get your name and the icon that is assigned to you, and well, basically the message that you are sending. And over time, there was a need to also add some visible way to identify users, like who is an admin, maybe someone, I know that some servers are running like a donor system, so they would like to show that appreciation for people who actually support them and take part in it. And, it started as like a really simple module. But this module also ties into a lot of stuff that Monzun mentioned. Like, for example, the great help from the SLG staff that we got to even make it possible. Because in the very beginning, to alter anything in the chat system, we have to use reflection. And again, it's getting a little technical, but to put it simply, it is a little bit like hacking the system, in a sense that normally you don't have access to change in that sense, like the chat system. But you would use the tool. In our case, it was for a lot of modders, the Harmony Lib that is used for like modding Rimworld, Oxygen not included. However, all of these games are like single player. However, in terms of Eco, there is a lot of information being exchanged between the server and the client, which means if you alter something that way, well, it opens up a huge can of worms in general. However, it was working for the longest time. But at some point, it got really bad. So we got a special system that I will show later on implemented, which made it possible that now this user strings, let's call them that way, can be altered. So things can be added. I'm actually working on a project called like a rename mod. So you would be able to rename the user in a sense that it is only visual. So the user still, sorry, the player, I should say the player in terms of the game, remains named originally. However, it appears differently in the chat. And it can be for various reasons. For example, the one that Mons also had a little issue that, for example, if someone is called it has very short name, like 2 or 3 characters, then whenever you type something that contains these characters, this character will get referenced all over the chat. It creates problem because it just looks bad, and it makes the text really badly readable. And the other hand is that sometimes, since the ECOG pulls the names from Steam, you probably have seen that people are named sometimes really weirdly on Steam. So that would allow you to also rename them. But also SLG helped us to actually get the system to work without the need to use any like third-party tools to get it like hacked in, rather than having it being present normally. Another problem with chat tags for me was that over the time when the module was growing, it got a lot of features. For example, like the shorted tags, integration with EM framework, so you could get the groups that you have for EM. Maybe I will explain a little bit. It's encroaching on Kye territory, so sorry, Kye, I hope I'm not doing anything wrong. I will just say that EM framework has a possibility that you can create groups. It can be just social groups or groups of users that have special permissions. And if you do so, then my module will pick the names automatically. And as you can see, for example, in this window, it will automatically add the chat. So the chat tag, sorry. The tag can be modified in any way you like. You can change the brackets, you can change what is displayed inside, you can change the colors, you can change members. And you can also make a shortcut. Like, for example, if you don't like the whole name admin, you can make like ADM, or you can just use whatever combination of characters you like, and so that the name will be made shorter. And that way you can actually kind of like make it more visible who is doing which kind of like job or role on your server. So this indeed was by far the most downloaded mod, and hopefully it is still being used. Again, the documentation is not my strong suit, so as you can see, the commands are not really displayed in a very readable format, but hopefully I'm happy to get like this mostly technical users, because people who are recipients of my modules are usually the ones who run their servers, which means that they are usually versed with like editing endless config files and delving deep into the nitty-gritty details of their server. So hopefully that is not the issue. But again, if you guys would ever have any problems or issues, I have my Discord that you can join. The link is always included in the thread. And also maybe touching a little bit on what Monzun said. If any of you don't like Unity, but you would like to have your logos or icons added, I have a service on my Discord. Well, service, maybe it's calling it wrongly. It's completely free, so don't worry, you don't have to pay anything. You just have to join my Discord and state that you would like to obtain this. Maybe let me show you actually how the system works. I will just display the Discord if it will let me. Yeah, exactly. So if you will join my server, you can, in the left menu, you will find server logos. And if you are one of the users that really don't like Unity and you would like to have your icons added, just make a thread. I have released some of them here. You will just include the asset you would like to have added, and I will add it for you. And once it is added, it will be then, let me show you, it will be added to optional modules in which is one of my modules that actually also exists there. Let me just display it quickly. As you can see, it just gets added to the list of assets, and then after downloading, you are picking just the Unity file that belongs to you, and you use the identifiers that have been assigned to your asset, and then you can freely use it, like Monzun mentioned, either on signs or on basically any assets you would like to have. Maybe in terms of configuration files, I have added also the ability to display your asset in notifications and in like motto of the day message. Let me maybe switch to the game. I will be able to show you it in practice where it is being affected at the moment. And of course, the game is logged out. So give me a second. I will just join quickly.
I have a question for you.
Yes, yes.
You have a
please,
question if you want while you're loading. Actually, a question that Dennis wanted me to relay because he's not in voice.
Thank you, of course, thank you.
He is wondering if Nid chat tags will be supported. I lost the message. Will Nid chat tags ever support automatically assigned tags based on elections? It's something that could be very useful
idea,
for.
Actually, that is great idea. Yes, absolutely. I will look into that. I want to make it as friendly as possible to the existing in-game systems. And actually, I'm now working on implementing demographics as well. So I guess at the same time, I will look also into how I can add the elections to be recognized as well. I already have a working system, so that should not be difficult. I will just add another basically element of the law system to be recognized, and that should yes, that is totally valuable. I can totally add it. But yes, referring to the icon. So basically, whenever you will add your icon, it will show, for example, here as whenever there is an update coming from Nid Toolbox or any like a server announcement that has your server, and you can also replace the name of Nid Toolbox. For example, if you don't like this Nid Toolbox showing everywhere, you can just add the tag that will basically be.
I think we
You can first
okay.
attempt. Yes, sorry, go on, Gio.
No, I think we lost your audio for a couple of seconds, but nothing too serious. If you could like
Thank
rewind
you.
rewind like 10 seconds, that would be great.
Oh, yes, I was just saying that if you use the opportunity to add the icon, the way I showed you, you can then attach it also to all of the announcements in the server, and also you can change the server tag. So instead of showing like Nid Toolbox, you can show the name of your server. So you are not tied to the naming if you don't like to. It is also something that grew with the mod. So people requested it, so it has been implemented. And also on the character here, you see my first attempt of adding like an object mod. I'm not an object modder, but still I want to add something, and forgive the wrong orientation of the potion bottle, it will be corrected. But basically, this is an attempt to extract a function I have in my player manager module that resets the character. I know that the vanilla game already has this command, but contrary to the vanilla command, this one will actually also return you to unlearned skills. So, for example, it will return you to like this pristine view without any skills being selected. If you would like to give it, you can give it to users. You can give it to anyone you like. It will have a recipe, and it will not require the player manager module. So it can be used like a food, basically. I also have an like animation. Again, forgive the way it is being kept. I have to adjust the values, but basically you eat it like food. So then if the character does it, it will get like a pop-up. If he really wants to reset, if not, it will return. If he wants to reset, or she, it will just get the character to the starting state as it was in the beginning. Maybe at the same time, I will also show you. Oh yeah, the legislation. I will need 1 minute to spawn the civics because I forgot to spawn the government. But also, I have that action to detect when food is eaten and for lockpicks. But maybe I will talk about it later, not to take too much time if we still have the time. So thank you, and sorry if it was boring.
That was nice, Nid. Thank you for your introduction to the tax system that you have been that you worked on. So I'm going to show Jordan's screen that he went to tell us a little bit about the ModKit future.
Oh yeah. So I figured since we're waiting on Kye still, I would show something new. So we've been getting some requests for the ability to mod in new pages to the elections website, and there's now currently a change request for this that would support adding custom content to the web page. Now, obviously, this is a very version 1 equivalent of this, and it'll likely evolve over time, but you are now able to, or going to be able to, define a web plugin that will be able to serve content to the front end. You can do this via Razor if that's your thing, or you can also do it through a SPY application like Vue or React. So for that, we will. There's been some talk about possibly publishing a library that would talk to the API provided by the web server. If that's something that's of interest, please leave feedback in the survey. But this is just a little thing demoing it. It's not a very exciting page, but it does show that it'll add a little tab here that'll serve the content from the web plugin. It's not shown here, but you can also assign an icon as well, which is from this right here. Yeah, I mean, I don't have too much to say on it, but I figured maybe buy Kye a little bit of time.
Yeah, I mean, and no problem. I mean, you think it's a nice feature to include on the game, and I don't know if Kye is already ready because he was having some internet issues, but that's no problem at all. We also have a bit more of modifications from Monzun and Nid. I don't know who wants to keep showing some of the mods that have been worked before, or maybe some of the work in progress.
I could talk a little bit on server modifications if you want to, like the actual, like not making code that loads into the server, but actually changing the real server. If we're interested in that.
That seems interesting. I love that shark, by the way.
Okay, we'll switch to my screen. Yeah, I just looked around and put a funny icon on the icon. So the server that we run I've been running this eco server for about 3 years, and maybe half a year ago or so, I asked Dennis, like, hey, would it be okay if we run our custom binary, which basically means I build the server myself. I have the code for it. I have the environment to build it, and I can run my own server. Or I can run my own server code. So I take the code that SLG has. Oop, I jumped. Yep, I just jumped. And using that, we can make custom changes. There were some things that weren't incredibly easy to mod, unfortunately. It will always be the case. Like in most other games, most things are difficult to mod. In Eco, most things are relatively easy to mod, I would say. But even the things that we can't actively mod, like the exhaustion system, for example, it's I think it's made relatively quickly to just fulfill the need to have something, to have exhaustion over at all. But it left us wanting to do some more things with it. For example, we find that people have a lot of time to play during the weekends, but they don't have as much time to play in the weekdays. So if we say that you get 6 hours a day to play, then it's a bit much in the weekdays after the weekend, because then the people who have time to play 6 hours a day will really do it, but the people who don't won't. And SLG added a really nice thing with rollover, so that you can stack days. The time you don't use from one day, you can stack into another day and have more time the next day. We did some improvements on that. So, but one thing we, for example, added is like whenever you join, you will get just 6 hours. You just get 6 hours extra whenever you join. So if you joined late, you can still catch up even if you joined. Oh, sorry, this is actually the wrong order. The first thing we made that this ties into is that we change it so that you get different amounts of time on different weekdays. I actually added this into our server source code. If I can find, I think it would be in the balance gameplay, maybe balance. Look at this. Exhaustion after hours, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is what it says. Just how much exhaustion should you have on the different days? And this was actually very, very well received. But the code for this, honestly, it's just bad. I just copy pasted the thing that already existed multiple times. And if someone did this internal in SLG, the other developers that have to review their code would say, please don't do this. But SLG never has to support any code that I make. I am the one who has to live with this whenever they change that code. Which is also a reason why some things like this feature might be nice. Why don't they just pull it into vanilla? Because the code for it is just bad. I just wrote this really quick and easy just to make it work. Because I'm a modder, I can do that. I don't need to care about code quality. As long as the things work, and I am the one who's going to be able to have to bear the pain of supporting this if I make it bad. I figured this should be stable enough for now, just to sort of make an experiment. So we made this, but then also people who join late, people who join on a day where you only get 3 hours, they won't have as much time basically. They will start with 3 hours, which is a bit unfair. So we made it so that you can start with an extra amount of hours. So you get this many hours per day in the week, and you get 6 extra hours extra whenever you join, just to always make sure that you get it started. There are some other things we've done with the exhaustion system as well. There's some one interesting thing actually. We have fiddled a little bit with. I think we have it mostly working now. We might need to sort out some bugs. Let me just find the flat space, maybe here. Yeah, and we're gonna cheat some more. Give me a what's those called? I know Kye has some nice benches. Is it park bench? Look at that. I think this is Kye's. If this is not Kye's, and I'm claiming that it is, I'm sorry to the actual author. Oh yeah, this one. Okay, I'm showing off Kye's stuff now. This looks nice, but I can't actually figure out how to sit on it, which is what I need to do. Give tune log bench, maybe. No. Tune. Sorry?
I haven't put the mouse spot on it yet. That's something I did.
At least for me, it's a bit difficult to hear.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. I'm more third zone bench. Thank you, devils. I can't figure out the names of the items. A lot of these have varieties depending on. There we go. Depending on which material you make them out of, so sometimes they're difficult to spawn. There. Now we can sit on it. Now when I sit on this, I'm actually not ticking my exhaustion, and you probably can't read this tooltip, but it says you're currently resting and will not become more exhausted until you get up. So whenever you sit on something that is not a vehicle, your exhaustion time just doesn't count. This has actually had a very interesting effect on players, because like outside of people's stores, sometimes you see an AFK chair now, and you actually get people sitting down in the environment. But again, this is something that might be nice for vanilla, but the code for it, don't take that into the base game, please. Please just look at this, see that it's good, and make it yourself when and if you feel that it's appropriate to implement for the game. You are of course the designers for the game and know the game better than I do. This is just something that maybe this would be neat, and I just made it. We tested it and people liked it. Doesn't mean that it fits with the overall design of the game, but and also it can't just be pulled in straight into the game because it's not very maintainable code, as we call it. But yeah, those are some things we've done with server modifications. There are some caveats to this. So we made these changes. The negative thing with it is we can't share it. If someone else wants to do this, I can't just give them a server binary because I'm not allowed to redistribute the server. Only the original creators or the people actually owning the game, SLG, can redistribute the server. This is also why we can't make client changes. This is a thing that limits us a lot as modders. We can't change the game client. The reason is the same. We cannot just we can make a different client for ourselves, but then only we can play. Like only the modder themselves can use it. Because we're not allowed to redistribute the client, which makes total sense. Like anyone except the developers should never do that, or aren't allowed to do that, I should say even. There's also some other things that restrict us a little bit, like in terms of what we are allowed and aren't allowed to do. Like we can use the assets that SLG have. They have a ton of different icons and models and textures, and we can use those more or less how we want for our own mods, which is cool. The caveat, I guess, is if we use something that SLG hasn't released yet, like if I were to go in and use their boat models, for example, we should probably ask them for permission. And that's for the record, what's I think has happened with there's been a streaming community that has had boats on their server. I don't think they're real boats; they are like modded boats. The real boats come with 10.0 eco. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone in the call. But they have used, I think, an original model. But that's because they have been talking to the developers and done it like the proper and good way. So I think you can always contact Dennis, the community manager, if you are concerned, like, am I allowed to use this model in my mod? And for the most part, if you're only using it on your own server, the answer is going to be yes. So yeah, that's what I think was the thing I wanted to talk about regarding changing the server code, which is a really, really cool thing, for the record, that I haven't seen any other game allowing, because almost no other game gives you access to the source code. So that's a fantastic opportunity for Strange Group Games and Eco and our modding community.
I actually can add on to this too. Like you said, you can make your own binary if you want for your own personal use. But if you come up with something and actually want it to be part of regular Eco, we do technically accept community contributions. Now that said, we're going to run you through the same ringer that we run ourselves through for reviews. So, don't copy and paste the code, but the option is there. For example, if you're running into a wall with a mod that you need this thing to be enabled and we don't have the time at the moment to get to it, you're more than welcome to submit a change request and we'll look at it. And if it meets our standards, we'll accept it.
I don't think that it's even limited to modding stuff either. There have been some things like the original chat logging system was something that I wrote as a mod, and then I was like, it should maybe be in the base game. Talked a little bit to Dennis, made a pull request, changed a ton of things because it wasn't up to scratch, and then it actually got included in the game. And then SLG have improved on it and changed it to probably not much of my code anymore, which is probably for the best because I'm not a C# developer, I'm a C++ developer. So it can be other things as well. I know one of my admins and me sat down at one point because we got really annoyed with the bug that made it so that sometimes if you hover an item, it says that this store is selling it for this price, and then when you go there, it's like, no, it doesn't. And we figured out what was caused by and submitted a pull request to have that fixed. Although last week or 2 weeks ago, I actually still saw an instance of it, so I thought it was really tricky. And it just shows how tricky it is to fix bugs in big games like this. So other things than modding as well sometimes get incorporated, which is really cool to see that the community takes part in improving the game. And yeah, it's really, really awesome that you guys allow us to take part in the development as much as you do.
Thank you for the for the comments. We are always happy to hear those kind of positive feedback for the game. That's really awesome. To be honest, I mean, being a developer and hear that you actually enjoy the what we have done is lovely. Okay, so I think that Kye is still having issues, so we may have to do a different stream with Kye before we finish. I don't know if Nid wants to talk a little bit more technical that
Yes, absolutely. I just wanted to show two things and also add to something that Mons said, because I have actually something to show that to prove what he said. It is about the community contributions and also what Jordan mentioned in that, yes, you can absolutely submit it. And I often heard, I don't remember exactly where it was, if it was in community modding or if it was on my Discord, that you shouldn't bother because and it wasn't aimed at SLG, but more as a general. The developers never read it. Don't even bother writing suggestions because no one reads this. It will just be buried in 117 other suggestions and no one would look at it. So I have something to show you that actually this is not the case, at least not with SLG. So please let me, I got a permission to show it, so please don't cancel me for showing closed in thingies, but this is absolutely authorized. Just give me a second, I will display the browser. And yes, exactly. So let me show you how it worked in my case. So I was very scared to even submit anything for the first time because I have literally never submitted anything like the public entity or like the company or, which actually contains a lot of developers who know what they are doing. And you always get this fear that, oh my goodness, what if they look at my code and they just laugh like, child, what are you bringing here? This is like the serious business. Don't come with something like that. And please don't be scared because they will actually tell you what to change. And it is a great opportunity to actually learn how it is done. And let me show you, this is actually the newest addition that I made for, just 1 second, I will go back to the browser. As a proposal to change the code, basically. It deals with the food item. As you probably all know, food item is anything that your character is able to consume. And the situation we have in now that you can add a timer on the spoilage time when the food will expire. However, there is no way to define the food as non-spoiling, basically. And the reason why you may want to do it is because whenever you put a food that is spoiling into the server, it basically creates a timer that runs on ticks, which can be heavy on the server. So whenever we don't need to add the tick, it would be nice that we don't have to. Plus, for roleplay reasons, that if you add anything chemical like potions, something that would last for a really long time, there is no need to add a timer on it. So I decided it would be nice to have something like that in. And look what happened. So I proposed this PR here. As you can see, this is again what Jordan said. So you will get reviewers assigned to your proposal. And then the fun starts. So basically, don't expect that it will be like, yes, sure, we will take it. You will get comments like, nope, please fix that. Please reconsider doing that. And of course, in the very beginning, you won't even understand what they want from you. But after, doing it a little bit more and trying to search for information, you will eventually get to a point where you deliver, and look what happens. And then after some time, and this even isn't like the old one. I will show you some that were accepted in like 2 days. So as you can see, everyone has already accepted, which means that this feature will get implemented probably in the next time when there is a release basically coming out. I can show you also. Maybe let me get back quickly. Sorry again if this is boring or not really up to the topic, but I think it might be interesting to people who actually would like to put something in. So yeah, maybe this one. As you can see, it was opened on 3rd October and closed on the 6th. So again, very quick implementation. Again, if you explain what you want, so like you can see, you have to conform to like specific form of your pull request. It has to contain the description what you want to achieve, and then you can provide additional information. And after the review, again, the stuff lands into the game code. For us, it is amazing because, for example, this one, this particular one, it deals again with this service that allows you to show chat tags, to alter the user strings, to show the roles like in the UI, in chat, in various like laws, for example, in descriptions. And when this got fixed, actually, this feature started working. So again, whenever you would like to propose something, don't feel like intimidated, or you really can do it, and it's really fine. It will get reviewed, and probably not everything will get implemented, but if it's viable, then you can absolutely count that this will get in. And maybe to add something on that, I also wanted to show you, I got a permission again from the person who originally kind of like went with this idea, because we spoke yesterday about maybe showing you guys like how it is to implement a system in Eco that actually never existed before. Something that is possible within the framework of the game, but no one actually thought that we can go that far. So just to make the long story short, there is a community, I think Jordan is actually also involved in this community, that plays on the server, which has a system in a sense that there are criminals and police. There are two groups. The criminals can go and steal items from houses, leaving clues automatically. Whenever the item is removed, there will be a clue dropped, which is invisible for the criminals. However, police, whenever they investigate the area, they can pick them up. And, just figuring out who did what and what was stolen. Of course, depending on your level of the thievery and on the tools, the level of the tools that you have used for stealing, you will have better or less chance of how many items you can actually take from the home that you have been invading. So the way I came across of the system, that I was asked to add a small game action that would get triggered anytime the lockpick is being successfully used on the locked item, be it the door or like chest or whatever. So it would be reason, and then it would inform the police that, listen, something is happening. It wouldn't give them the exact location of what was being stolen. However, like a general area that they should look at what is happening. And this is also a good way to maybe talk about a little bit like about the game actions and how they actually work within the law system. And please forgive these tiny icons that appear here. Sergey told me that this is actually on the SLG side and they can fix it. So it's something we have influence over now, but basically this is the action I added. So basically every time when the citizen is using, when the object is actually locked picked, this action is being like alerted, like it is reason. And actually you can even indicate which tool has been used. And again, this guys is very easily achievable within like the modding. You can just it is as simple as giving a tag in which you would like to use to like limit this, which items are available to get picked here. So whenever the object is locked picked, then this action will be triggered, and then you can send a notice, for example, that this happened. You can add the location that is carried with the action. You can display, for example, the server time that this action has happened. So really, I wouldn't say that maybe the sky is the limit, but definitely a lot of the stuff is possible. Maybe I can even show you like how this actually this lockpicking works in practice. So while you are away, I have spawned a little store in here. Actually, it was funny because initially when we were testing it, we spawned a toilet. It was like this fancy building, and all it had inside was a toilet with the chest. But this is basically how it works. And let me just see if I remember. Oh yes, this is always difficult to spam the thing you like. But I just want to show you how. Oh my. Okay, so we advanced lockpick. Maybe let's use this one. Advanced lockpick set item. Yeah, but so basically, sorry again, I feel terrible with spelling, but basically, the moment it is spawned, you can basically either use it on the door or any actually locked object. It can be chest or stockpile, which is not actually belonging to you. And the indicator of it is like whenever you point on something, you get like this red indicator that this item doesn't belong to you. I assigned it to the test client 0. So that way you know that you can actually interact with it. Let me just check what I'm doing wrong. Okay, so it's actually advanced. Lockpick item, advanced lockpick set item. Yes, so I have to be more specific. Yes, again, that of trying to show something. Let's try super. Okay, it seems like I'm not going to show you this, guys, but basically what happens is that the tool, which actually has a 3D model, will appear in your tool belt. Then you click on the doors, and if you are successful, you will get in. And then you can spend as much time as you like inside the property and just remove the chest. And actually, the system is so smart that it will actually take into account the tier of the item that you are trying to steal from the chest. And your skill levels. So as you can see, this system has never existed in Eco. No one has been working on that yet. Modders have put it in, which works. It's only a small section that I'm showing. They have police boots, cars, a ticketing system, fines, courts, all of the law enforcement that actually happens at the same time. So really, I was mind blown when I saw this in action. Maybe Jordan can tell more about this mod, or Kye when he's back, because they are in this community. And also huge shout out to Willy Wonka, who actually came with the code to me. So he was the one who requested this little change to be made. And this is how I actually got informed about this particular mod existing. But yeah, totally great. I think it's the most complex one that I have seen in my time for Eco.
Thanks, Nid, for all the
Thank you.
information. Thank you. So I think Kye is back and ready to show us something of the mods that they have been developing.
Hi,
Kye,
yes, I finally got it all working.
that's nice. Just give me a second. I'll share your screen. I lost my OBS. I'm really sorry, but yeah, you can start talking already.
So you can see my screen?
Should be visible now.
Should be visible? All right.
Yeah.
So I've created a lot of content mods for Eco, ranging from block types all the way up to new vehicles. As you can see here, we have one of the police cars out of my vehicles mod, which, thanks to a change that was incorporated by one of the devs a little while ago, we are now able to actually, as you can see down the bottom here, adjust the lights. So we can turn the lights on and off while actually driving vehicles and stuff. Now we can actually do a lot of other different things with this, not just lights, but there's many other different things that we can do with this in regards to vehicles. Now, a lot of you have probably already seen all these mods, like me colored glass, the vehicles, the semi that's decided to go for a swim. But this is some stuff a lot of you probably haven't seen that I have had in before, which will be coming back. These items here are called daylight sensors. This is part of a mod pack that I'm working on called Energy. And it's not just the daylight sensors. Either there's like power switches, breaker switches, all kinds, and light switches. Now, the function of the daylight sensors is to help with power. So as you can see here, we have a light which has got plenty of power, but if we try and turn it on, it turns itself straight back off. So what this is the daylight sensor here detecting that it is currently daytime in the server and turns the lights off. If you don't know much about the power system in Eco, it's all grid-based, and so when there's no draw on the power generators, they kind of turn off, except for the wind turbine. So we're going to just fast forward the server until it's nighttime. And as you'll see, when it hits nighttime, the light should turn on by itself because the sensor will actually detect that, and then it should make the change automatically. As you see, the light itself is just turned itself on. So this is a part of the green energy system that I'm working on to help with power saving and pollution-based stuff in the actual base game. So you can use these types of sensors, these types of switches to actually save on putting out pollution with power generation. And it also will help like throughout the day, like if you have low power generation in general, it'll keep the lights off, taking that extra draw off, and then allowing the other tables and stuff to keep running. And then at night time, so you can see that that will turn on. I've seen a comment there about the conveyor belts. The conveyor belts are really broken at the moment. I don't have a prepped display of them, unfortunately. But yes, the lag. I'm so sorry. My internet is really bad. What else? Oh, this is just a little extension on something that Nid was showing off in regards to the lockpicking. Now, this thing is called a search warrant. Now, this is something I'm planning on releasing part of an EMS kind of mod. So it's more of a roleplay based mod that will you know, help expand on roleplay with different emergency services type things. So like rescues, police, ambulance, fire brigade, stuff like that. But the search warrant acts a little bit like the dev tool without the overpoweredness of the building and stuff with the dev tool. But it allows you to, as like a police officer in roleplay, enter and operate things that you don't actually have authority on. So with the search warrant, we can actually now get in and control vehicles. We can also access other people's buildings and structures, and all other sorts of things. Now, I'm also going to give you guys a little sneak peek into something else that I'm working on that is also in regards to power. So they were in once before, but very briefly, and I'm working on reworking the system so it is a lot better, is we have rechargeable batteries that help tie into your power grids. So basically with excess power, the batteries will charge up, and then when there's not enough power in the grid anymore, say like a generator's run out of fuel and you haven't topped it up, the batteries will turn on and provide power back into the grid.
Kye, I think that we lost your audio for a moment. In case you can go back a couple of seconds.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, Lynn. I think the last thing I was talking about was the batteries, a rechargeable battery system. Is there any questions in regards to like modding or anything that I've made or am making?
Oh, well, I have been reading the Twitch chat, and they are mostly saying how great are your mods, and a lot of compliments for everything you have done. So there are really not questions. There's more like a lot of compliments.
It makes me happy knowing that a lot of people enjoyed my my mods, the things that I've made, and all that sort of stuff. Like it as a modder, I'm pretty sure the others feel like this as well. When you make a mod and people actually enjoy the things that you've made and they give you really good feedback, it makes you feel nice and happy that the work that you've done is appreciated in a way. So hearing that so many people do enjoy the things that we've made and the things that we do, it is a really good feeling for us, and it does help us keep pushing forward with creating new content and things. Ooh, I wonder if I should show this off.
There is a question that would be really nice to have your answer. So someone on Twitch chat asked what program is used to make emotes.
So usually we use as a basis two systems. So one system is Visual Studios, which is an integrated development environment, which it just helps make writing the code a bit easier. It helps to keep it a bit cleaner, and it helps show errors and stuff for when you're actually trying to develop the code side of your mods. And then the other tool would be Unity. So we use Unity for implementing our objects, our assets, and bringing the actual objects and things that we have in our vision to life inside the game. Then you have others that will use 3D modeling software, whether it be Maya, Blender, 3ds Max, for creating the objects and models.
Yeah, for example, some of the mods that
I
have
do
been
have-
done by Kye. I'm sorry, Kye, that I interrupted.
Sorry.
So some of the mods that have been
No,
done
you're
by
right.
Kye include custom models that he have done himself. For the custom models, you may need a different software. So you may use like Blender, Maya, or 3D Max, depending on your preference. You can continue, Kye. Sorry for the interruption.
That's right. So one of the other things, I think this part's really overlooked. This is a part of my features pack, which is mostly server-side script stuff, which contains things like home teleports, player-to-player teleports, and if like warp points as well, so you can use obelisks to warp to different points in the map. And then there's also like daily rewards. Now, it seems like with a lot of players, they don't feel very rewarded coming back each day and doing the eco grind, the typical eco grind. So I made a daily reward system that allows you to actually reward your players with different packs, which they'll get at random. So there's a chance that they'll get a pack, like a particular pack that has these items in it, or they'll get a different one. Let's see if it still likes me. So there we go. So I have 3 packs created already, and to create a pack is really simple. You just need the reward pack table, and then we add the items that we want to add to the pack. So we can find something like, say, like bear claw. We give them a couple of bear claws, some nice food, or you can give them something like what's a really nice high tier item. So let's see. You can even give them some like research papers. So we call this advanced pack. So the selection value here is the chance of this pack being gotten. So a higher number means a higher chance, a lower number means a lower chance. And then we just click the create pack button, and it will create the advanced pack. And so each day, your players can do /get daily. It's a user command, so you don't need to be admin or anything to use it. And it will reward you with a little gift box. And basically you just right click your little gift box here, and it will give you the items available in a gift box. And so that one had pink stained glass, some agricultural research papers, and some mushrooms. So I just thought of that as a nice sort of way to be able to reward returning players who play all the time, and give them something to look forward each day when they log into. I did have a request, I think yesterday, on adding the ability to add currency through that, so they can actually get some free money for just logging on every day by claiming their reward pack.
That's nice. Like the mobile, that's quite common on mobile video games, that you have to connect every day to collect a reward. I think that's a nice feature to keep the server active. Have you started already working on that, Kye?
This has been around for quite a while. The feature pack stuff probably doesn't get a lot of recognition. It's mostly the content mods, like the colored glass, the colored bricks, colored concrete. the also recently released 45-degree blocks, which can actually be
Sorry
used
to
to
interrupt,
weird
Kai. I
people
just
out a little
wanted to
bit.
say that I'm a huge fan and always have been of EAIM framework. This is the biggest one that one gets almost no recognition, and it's like the best thing ever. At least from my perspective, I think a lot of modders actually who depend on it love it. So thank you so much for developing it. It's great.
Yeah, I can only concur. It's really good.
That's all right. I'm glad you guys like enjoy it and use it. And it originally started as just like a little core plugin for all my mods, so I didn't have to keep reusing or rewriting the same functions and stuff throughout all of them. So I thought it'd be a lot better to just push them all into one nice big framework and then allow other modders to use them as well. Because the problem with C# is like if you use the same name, like same class names inside the same namespaces, there can be a lot of conflict. So I just felt it'd be easier to just make this big list of plenty of different methods and stuff that people can use all together without having to worry about conflicts and mods. This is my favorite thing about the 45-degree blocks, is you can use them to make very offset buildings, and it always seems to trip people out when I do this. Literally, you can have a building on a diagonal. But so this is something I also put forward to the modding community, which is a separate community from the core eco one, which I kind of put together, I think about 2 years ago now, for modders to come together and have this nice big open space for discussing mods, giving support for mods, dedicated support, learning how to mod, help with mods, all that sort of stuff. I may be doing some streams in the future, doing mod Q&As and helping people with their mods or showing people how to do certain mods and things like that. So there'll be more info on that in the modding community, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So if you are interested in getting into the modding, that will be something there that you can look into if you like. And I'll try to work closely with the eco devs to get some more tutorials done out onto their modkit GitHub, which hopefully we can get Dennis or something to post up on the main eco Discord for people to go and have a look at, which has some nice little starting tutorials there for people as well.
Okay, thank you, Kai, for the information. We also
I seen a
shared
comment there about a UI guide.
Oh yeah, no, I just wanted to let you know that we shared the link for the eco modding community on the chat. You can share it again if you want. But yeah, that's a nice place to start. I just wanted to give that clarification. So yeah, you can continue, Kai.
Currently at the moment, there is no way to actually add in custom UIs. Basically, everything we have to do with UI is done from in-game using an auto-generated system that the devs have been wonderful in their development of. Allows me to do things like with the reward pack table, those custom UIs there. But unfortunately, we can't add custom UIs yet. That's something I think that they may be looking into down the line for us, so we can do stuff like that. I think that's pretty much all I have to cover. I'm mind blanking really hard.
Yeah, that's really nice. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us. I don't know if anyone wants to say some last words before we finish the stream.
I just want to say thank you for having us. I think it's really cool to be here and to be able to show off what the eco community, like the modding community around eco, can do, and like give a shout out to you guys as well, like the developers, because you give us a lot of powerful tools to make all of these really cool things.
Yeah, without you guys, none of this stuff would have been happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for joining us, everyone, on the stream, and also, of course, the models for joining us on the conversation. Really love having you guys here. So that would be all for today. Thank you, everyone, and I hope you can see the next stream. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you very much for having us.